What is going on, guys? Fabrizio Van Marciano here from vanmarciano.co and .pro. You can follow me on X and Facebook at Van Marciano. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Oxygen Builder video. Yep, that's right, Oxygen Builder. I'm still using it in 2025, among other builders, of course, bricks and breakdance and all the rest of it. And I don't have any plans to stop using it or to follow what everybody else is doing in the WordPress sphere. Talking of the WordPress sphere, what a mess. Anyway, let's not get into that in this video. What we're going to be doing is creating a responsive and accessible global template. So that is a header and footer section using Oxygen, WP Codebox, and a little bit of core framework as well, though I'll get into the details of that in the video. I know there's a lot of you out there that are still using Oxygen. Some of you are discovering it for the very first time, and there's a lot of outdated content out there, but I'm hoping to bring you some fresh new content using Oxygen. Once again, if you enjoyed this video, do check out some of my other in-depth design tutorials over on Van Marciano Pro. I do have quite a few covering Oxygen Builder, Bricks Builder, Breakdance, and all the rest of it. But anyway, let's dive straight onto the screen and get started creating our global template using Oxygen Builder. Hey guys, welcome back to another Oxygen Builder tutorial. So once again, what we're going to be doing in this video is creating a simple, minimal, responsive, and accessible header and footer section in our global template here. So yeah, let's dive right into it. But before we jump into the design, there's a few things I need to mention very quickly. I'm actually building this on a dummy website on my local server, which I've created using my Oxygen Builder blueprint, which saves me an enormous amount of time when I need to start a new project with Oxygen. Now, if you're interested in this Oxygen blueprint website, there will be a tutorial available over on Van Marciano Pro, including a video. The template we're going to be building in this video will be part of a new design set for Oxygen called the Mr. Freelance version 3 template set. And of course, if you are already a Van Marciano Pro Ultimate member, then you have access to the small but growing templates library that we have. The other thing I want to mention is if you haven't tuned in for a while, not that I've been putting any new content on my channel as of late, but I will be going live next week on this channel where we will build a simple but attractive landing page for an ebook using Oxygen. That is coming next week. I'm looking towards Tuesday, though I may well end up doing it on Thursday or Friday. I don't know. Only because this will be my first live stream and I'm still setting things up and testing and everything else and pulling my hair out at the same time. And yeah, fun times. All right, so enough ranting. So let's get cracking with this video. So I have a blank page here. I'm inside of the global template once again. And so what I'm going to do is, as I said, I have all of my utility classes, all of the custom classes. Well, not all of them, but the main ones that I want to use. And I have my variables as well and the color palette and whatnot. So if I head over to my WP Codebox here very quickly. So here we are. I have my code snippet here with all of the custom CSS variables, utility classes that I want to use for this small build. And yeah, as you can see here, I have all my colors and some utility classes and some other classes here for spacing, shadows, widths. So some of this I've created using the Core Framework plugin, and I've just basically copied the CSS and pasted in here, and I've modified this to add my own snippets as well. So yeah, anyway, I don't want to dive too deep into this. So let's go back to the editor and begin. So I'm going to go right ahead and add two sections to begin with, header, and then let's duplicate this. This is going to be a footer section. And then I'm going to go back to body and just go back to add element and find the inner content. Here we go. And let me just drag this in the center here. Okay. And what I also want to do with this inner content is I want to, I'm just thinking. Yeah, let's go to the tag and change this to main. Okay, and then we're going to right click and wrap this inside of a div. And then we're going to, actually what we'll do, we'll come back to this in just a second because what I want to do is create a skippable link, but I think I'm going to wait towards the end. So let's just focus on the header section here. I can't really see my keyboard here, but all right. And this is our footer section. Oops. Footer section, header section. So let's focus on the header section for the time being. So inside here, I'm going to go to add element and drop in an image element, followed by a div. Okay. And so we have the div selected. Let's go right ahead and drop in a, what can we drop in? Yeah, let's go for a text link. Text link. Perfect. Okay, so let's open this up. Header, image. Let's change this to read header logo. And this is going to be our menu container. And this is our menu link. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the header section. I think what I'm going to do is drop in another div, drag this to the top here. This can be our logo container or div or whatever you want to call it. Let's drag the header logo inside here. Did that even work? Oh, here we go. All right, so now I'm going to open this up. Yep, open this up, logo. Let's change this or add an image in here. So I'm going to go to Browse, and I'm going to use this one here, Mr. Freelance. And we can give this a class. What I am going to do is go to Advanced and go to Size and Spacing and set this to 200 or, yeah, 250 pixels. Okie dokie. And let's go to Advanced again. Yeah, I don't think I want to do anything else for the time being. Right, let's go to the menu container next. And what do we have in here? I can't remember. Let's open this up. Yeah, we have a single menu. So menu link. I'm going to call this home. For the container, I'm going to set this to, yeah, the layout of child elements. Let's set this to horizontal. And that is all I want to do. Let's go back to the header section here and set the child element layout to horizontal. And then we want to come down here to vertical item alignment and select space in between. Let's also set this to middle for vertical item alignment. Okie dokie, so that is looking good. So let's go, yeah, I want to go up here to size and spacing. So I have some paddings inside here, and all of this is from my settings. And then if I go to global styles, is it? And sections and columns. So I've added some values inside here. So I have 7 rems for the top and bottom, for the section container, and then 2 rems on either side. And for the columns padding, I have 2 rems all around. Okay, so what I want to do for the header section is actually override some of these settings. So I'm just going to add 2 rems at the top and 2 at the bottom here. That's much better. And then, yeah, that is it basically. Right, so let's head over to the, so we have the header logo. Let's close this. Let's go to the menu container next. And what I want to do is the menu icon here, I want to style this a little bit. So I'm just thinking, do you know, I am going to give my header section a class. Yeah, I'm going to give this a class. So what I'm going to do is use header section. Oops. Header section. No glasses, so I can't really see. Okay, header section. Let's just go back to the ID. So can we just copy all of the styles from the ID and paste it inside of the header section? And then what? Yeah, let's select the section, the ID, and remove all of this here. Okay, I think that's all we did. What else did we do? Layout was, yeah, we didn't do anything here. Everything else is fine. Oh yeah, size and spacing. Let's remove the padding at the top and bottom. And I think that was it. Yeah, so all of our styles is in the class. Okay, so we're using a class for the header section. And whilst I'm at it, I'm just going to use one for the footer section as well. Right, so let's go back to the header section here. So the layout is fine. Let's focus on our menu item. So for the menu container that we have here, let's give this a class as well. So I'm going to use header section and then menu div or container. Let's use CT for container, menu container. And then this is going to be, oops, keep closing this. Header section menu container item. So here we go, add class. Now here what we're going to do is let's style this a little bit. So I'm going to go to advanced. Let's go to background first of all. Now for the background, I have a variable that I want to use. And if I go to my WP code box here, I have some background here. No, where is it? Yeah, tertiary. I want to use this one. Right, so let's go. Variable. Tertiary, here we go. That's the background. And let's go to advanced and size and spacing. And let's see what we can do here. Now I can use a variable here as well, but I don't think I have one that's going to be small enough. Space XS. Yeah, I need to remove this, don't I? Here we go. Yeah, that's not going to be small enough, I don't think. So I'm just going to use 1 rem, and then I'm going to apply this. Can I apply this all the way around? Yeah, like so. Okie dokie, that'll do. So next I want to add a border radius, and I know that I have a class for this. Radius, let's try small. Nope, let's try extra small. No, sorry, medium. Radius, medium. Perfect. And then finally, I have, yeah, let's go to the header section menu class, and I want to go to typography. Let's use another variable here. I do have another one, so this is going to be, what can I use? I'm going to use light, let's try it light 70, and then work our way down. So yeah, light 60, I think. That's pretty cool. Right, so that is fine. I don't want to do anything else. Let's go back to primary and change the content to read. Oops. I really cannot see the keyboard because my microphone is literally over the top of it. Home. Here we go. That's cool. Now let's just, let's see what else we can do. Yeah, so let's add a hover effect to this. I'm going to go to state, hover. And do you know what I'm going to do actually? Let's go back to original. I'm going to remove the blue background. I don't like this background. Let's add a different one. I'm going to have a look at my primary here. I have secondary. I'm just going to copy this one here. Yeah, that's probably too. Here we go. That one there, secondary 60. That is what I'm going to use for this state. And then for the hover state, I'm going to use my tertiary. And also, let's change the typography color to light. So it's a little bit brighter. And I think that's all I want to do. Let's go back and just have a look at this. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, we want to add a transition. So let's go to Effects, Transition. Make sure we have the class selected, of course. 3 seconds. Right, let's save that. Now I'm going to duplicate this a couple of times. And of course, I'm so used to using Command Shift and D for duplicate in bricks, but you can't do this here. So let's just go up here and just duplicate it. All right, that looks fine. How many have we got? 1 too many. So this is home. This can be about. Let's try that again. About services. Contact, that'll do. So let's go back to the menu container and add a gap. And I think I have some classes for this gap. Perfect. Save. All right, we want to change the text inside here now. So this can be services. No, wrong one. That's services. What am I doing? Contact. About. Of course, when you're doing this for yourself, just take your time. You don't need to rush it, but for the sake of the tutorial, we just want to get through this as quick as we can. So home, about, services, contact, that looks quite nice. Maybe the padding inside of here is a little bit too big, but we can adjust this if we want to later on. All right, so now what I want to do is save. And obviously, this is not going to be responsive at all. But what I want to do is I want to have this menu container disabled on one of these breakpoints, and then we'll replace it with a mobile menu which can be used to access the pages of this site. So, just thinking, let's go back to the header logo. I think it's a little bit too big. I'm going to reduce that down to 225 maybe. That's better. Save. All right, so we're nearly there. So let's see if we can preview this on front end. When I say we're nearly there, for the header section at least. Yeah, that's nice. All right, let's go back to the editor, and what else can we do? So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these other breakpoints here and just check to see, because from this breakpoint, I think what I want to do is make this menu container. I want to set this to, let's see if I can do this. So I have the class selection, selected here, but I think I probably need to select the ID, go to layout, and set the display. Oh, hang on a minute. So let's go back to header section here. So this is set to display flex. Yeah. So for here, can I set this to display none? Yeah, I can. because what I want to do is, yeah, let's go back to the full screen and select the header section. Let's add a menu element. Okay, so menu element, just a simple one here. And I want to give this a class of mobile menu. And I'm going to go to advanced layout none for the display. Okay. And then for the breakpoint of less than 768 here, I'm going to set this back to flex. And of course we can customize this a little bit. Let's go to primary and see what we can do. So I think the hamburger is a little bit too big. So let's go to change this here. So where did I go? So I went into mobile responsive and then icon styles. Okay. So let's drop that down a little bit in size. Let's go 32 pixels. The icon color, I want to use my variable tertiary. That's fine. And we'll customize the, what do you call it? The content of this in just a second. But I want to go back to here and just test this out. And then let's go back to the front end. Let's refresh. Let's right click and inspect. And let's see if this works. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, I like this. But one thing I don't like is the way it just suddenly disappears. And then we have the mobile menu that comes straight in there. So I think let's go back to the editor. We can change that in just a second. But what I want to do is I want to select one of these menu items. We have the class selected. I don't like the amount of padding that I have inside here. So I'm going to adjust this. So we have 1 rem all the way around. For the top and bottom, I think I'm going to change this to, let's try 0.4 of a rem. Much better. Yeah, I like that. All right. So I'm going to save this now. And before we continue, what I want to do is add some transition. And what I mean by that is I want to have a smoother transition when we kind of resize here on the desktop. So as you see me resizing here, I want this to flow a lot smoother. So I want this to, I wanted the container with the menu items to kind of fade away and then this to fade in slowly. And to do that, we can do this inside of Oxygen quite easily. And of course, we need to use some CSS as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the menu container here and give this a new class. I'm going to call it transition. Okay, so let's save. And then I'm going to go to my style sheet if I can here. Let's go to exit front end. I'm going to right click and open this in a new tab here. Oops, I've opened the wrong one. Front end, admin, that's what I wanted. So let's go to WP Codebox. And I'm going to add this inside of my utilities style sheet. Doesn't really matter. So at the bottom here, let's add some CSS. I'm going to begin with the class that I've just used. So that was transition. And then in here, did I spell that right? Transition, yep. And in here, I'm going to add opacity 0, transition, no, not transition, animation, and that is going to be fade in 2 seconds forwards, like so. And then let's add at keyframes fade in to opacity 1. Okay, so let's save this. Yeah, up here, save. And then let's go back to the front end and refresh this and see what we have. And here we go. So let's resize this now. All right, so it's working on the desktop menu, but we want to add this to the mobile menu as well. So let's select it down here. Where is it? Menu. I'm going to rename this to mobile menu. And then I'm going to add my transition class in here as well. Like so. Let's save. Let's head over to the front end, refresh, and have a quick look. And that's much better. That looks pretty cool. We could actually adjust this slightly, maybe make the animation flow a little bit slower, but sorry, a little quicker, but it's okay. Let's go back. All right, so that's our header section almost done. So what I'm going to do in here is actually I'm going to start with the header logo here. I'm going to go to advanced. I'm going to go to attributes, add attribute. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to add an alt, and this is going to be What could we write in here? Mr. Freelance Website Company or something like that. We're just making it up. Let's add another one, and this one is going to be, well, if we were actually linking this logo to the homepage, for example, then we would probably use something like ARIA label, and then add go to the websites. Oops, not that. Homepage. Okay, let's get rid of that. So we could add this if we were linking this to the homepage, or if we wasn't going to link to the homepage, we could just add ARIA hidden, yeah, and true, something like that. Right, we don't want to get too nitpicky with the accessibility, but just to give you a few ideas here. And for here, we could go something like, well, this is the homepage, so we could go to attributes, add attribute, ARIA label. Have I spelled that right? Label? Yeah, I have now. So let's add something like go to the homepage. Okay. And then for this one, we could add another attribute. I'm going to copy this because then I don't have to. ARIA label got to the about page. And so on. I think you get the idea. Advanced attributes, add, paste, go to the services. And then this one is going to go, sorry, it's going to be go to the contact page. Okay, pretty cool stuff. Let's go and save this. Let's go back to the front end and admire this a little bit more. Yeah, this is fine. And let's go back to the desktop. I'm also going to add my transition class here to this one as well, so that when our page loads on a desktop, it flows nicely. I mean, we could add it to the container or the section, but this is fine. This is awesome. Okay, so that is the header section taken care of. I don't want to get too nitpicky with this. Yeah, okay, so what I want to do next is, let me just check this responsive menu here. Yeah, this is okay, I guess. Maybe we can customize the background and the links and whatnot. This isn't the right menu, is it? Let me just refresh this. I'm sure it changes. Oh, here we go. Front page, about page, services, contact. Yeah, let's customize this a little bit. Now let's go back to the editor and see what we can do. Let's select the mobile menu. Yeah, so text, spacing, hover, drop downs, mobile, responsive, menu styles. Here we go. So let's change the background. I'm going to select the less than 768 so we can see what we're doing. So the background, let's use a variable, and I think I might just use, which one could we use? Now I could use the same background color as this. Now let me just go back and have a quick look at my variables here. What do I have for background? Background body. Yeah, let's just use this one here. Copy. Let's go back. Nope, wrong place. Here we go. So yeah, let's open this up again, and let's paste this inside the background color. VAR. Okay, that looks pretty cool. So the link color, we're going to use the variable tertiary, like so. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't really want to do anything else. We don't need a, we could probably add a focused background color, but yeah, let's just keep it simple for the time being. Save that. Not going to do too much here, but if you want to customize this further for yourself, then yeah, feel free to do it. So let's go back and check this one here. This is fine. Yeah. And obviously this gets deactivated here. Okay, so we're done for the header. Let's next focus on the footer. So I'm going to collapse everything here, open up the footer, because what we mustn't forget to do, of course, is we want to create a accessible skip link before we end this tutorial. But let's just focus on the footer for the time being. I want to keep this very, very simple. So we have a section. Let's add a container. We didn't actually add a container to the header, but it doesn't matter. So we want a div. And the div, we're going to give this the class of. I have some class for my columns. So I'm going to use the columns 3-2 layout. This is a grid layout. Columns set to 5. Minimum width is 0, and so yeah, I've already pre-styled this a little bit. Again, taken from my Oxygen Builder Blueprint website. So if you're interested in that one, I will have a link to the tutorial where you can learn how to build a Blueprint website for your Oxygen projects. Okay, so yes, what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to go to Advanced and lock the styles inside here. Let's go right ahead and add 2 div blocks inside of here. So 1, 2. So I'm going to select the footer section. Let me just open this up. And so this is our columns, 3, 2, and this is our left div, and then right div. Right, so inside of the right div, I'm going to go right ahead and drop in a heading component, or element rather, and then let's drop in another div. And inside of this div, let's drop in an icon, if we can find it here. No, let's just search for it. Icon. All right, that is all we want. For the left div, we're going to go and add an image. And then let's also add a text element. Let's add another div. And then inside of this div, we're going to go and add a text link. Okay, so let's save. And that is all we want to do for the footer. Now, let's go and have a look at this on the front end here. Looks like it's already been refreshed. Let's inspect. Oh, what's happened up here? Why is our menu and hamburger menu all messed up? Let's go back to the editor and try and fix this before we move on. There's always something. So the header section, advanced layout, flex. Yeah. Oh, I thought we had that set to none. That's wise. Right. So let's just go and open this up. Let's select the mobile menu first and see what we have. So for the main desktop, we had this set to display none, I'm pretty sure. Here we go. So let me just get rid of this at the class level. I'm going to do this at the ID level. Set this to none here. Okay. And then here we want this to, is it this breakpoint? Yeah, 768 pixels. Let's set this back to flex. Now let's go to the header. Is it the header? So the menu container. Let's go to the desktop, advanced layout. I think that's the default anyway. So let me just, I want to go to, yeah, this one here. Let's get rid of this at the class level as well. Select the ID. So here we want this to be shown. Here we want this to be shown. Here, yes. Here we don't want this to be shown. So let's set the display to none here. I'm pretty sure I've done this. And also, I'm gonna, do I want to, yeah, that's fine. So let me go and just have a quick look on the front end now. Maybe I made a mistake earlier on and I just didn't notice. That's better. Right, that's fine. So I'll just go back here a second. Why did I wrap the logo inside of a div? Any reason? Again, something I don't remember doing. Maybe I do remember doing it, but I'm not too sure why I did it. There's nothing in here. Let me drag this back out here and get rid of this stupid logo div. Refresh. Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do, I think, is for the logo, I'm going to give this a class because I didn't give this a class. Logo. Yeah, that'll do. And let's select the image and I'm going to copy the styles from the image and paste it into the logo. Let's select the ID for the image and get rid of all the values that I have in here. I think it's advanced here as well. Get rid of the width, max value, and just leave that as it is. So that is fine. So let's save that here. Have another look on the front end, refresh. Don't think anything's going to change drastically here. We can actually try and make this responsive as well. Anyway, let's just focus on the footer. So I have the image inside of the left div. So again, this is going to be the logo. And I'm going to use the class that I've just created, the logo class that we've added to the header. All right, perfect. So for the text, let's select our text styles. All right. And very quickly, I just want to explain to you what is going on with this text styles class. So here, if I go to advanced and typography, the only thing that I have in here is the font family. Okay, that's the only thing that there is. So let me just lock the selector styles inside here. But I also have some styles assigned to this class inside of my WP Codebox style sheet here. So if I come down here. So text styles, as you can see here, I've defined the color, size, and line height. Okay, so the color and size are taken from my list of variables here. So for the text size, we are using text medium. which is using the clamp function, and that is what is making our typography fluid, okay? And the same for the heading styles. I've done the same here. And this class here, H1/L, is the ultra large font size for our hero text, okay? But we're not going to talk about that in this video because obviously we're not creating a hero section, but this is using the variable text 4 times extra large, okay, which makes our font very big for our hero headings. Okay, so let me go back to the front page. No, back to the editor here. So yeah, all right, so we've done that. Let's select the text link and give this a class. I'm going to use footer link for this one, add class, and we can style this in just a second. Let's head over to the right div block here. So we have a heading, again, utility class for this, heading styles, and let's select the ID, change the tag to H3, okay? Let's change this to read something like follow me. All right, and finally, let's open up the div. We have one icon in here, and I do have some utility classes for my icons. So I'm going to use icon M for medium, and again, pre-styled with our color, icon size, and let's change this to be something else. Twitter, let's have a look, or X, yeah. So for the div, I'm going to set the layout of child elements to horizontal. I'm also going to add my gap class inside here. Let's try gap XS. And now we can select the icon and duplicate this. We can't hold down Command, Shift, and D. Keep forgetting that I can, but let's just do this here. All right, and let's change these icons to something else. So this can be Instagram, and this one can be Facebook. Righty, righty, righty. Let's go back to the right div and add a gap in here as well. So gap, I want to use S maybe. Did I select that? No, let's try again. All right, so we could use that. That's fine. Let's add gap S in here as well. Perfect, I think. Let me just select this text here. There's a little bit too much gap here. Or is it my eyes? I don't know. All right, so that's fine. I'm going to go back to the right div very quickly here. I'm going to select the ID because what I want to do, I want to set the horizontal item alignment to the right. Okay, so everything's on the right-hand side. All right, so I have some text that I want to copy and paste inside from my clipboard inside of my text component here. So all I need to do is select the ID content. Let's get rid of that. Paste that inside here. Now, this is a little bit too wide for my liking, so I do have another utility class that I've created, and that is for the widths. Now, I've not used Core Framework for this. These are my own that I've created inside of my snippet here. If I go all the way down here, you'll see that I have VM widths, so width 90, full 75, 50, and then I have some for my viewport height as well. So yeah, I've set the values inside here, and then I've reset the values back to 100% at the breakpoint that is less than or equal to 768 pixels, okay? So let me go back to here and set this to, I'm going to try width 75. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. All right, so let's just save this, and then let's select the footer link next, and I'm going to style this a little bit. So what we want to do, let's change the text to read something like privacy policy, like so. And let's change the, let's go to advanced, let's go to typography, and we can change the text color. Now I'm going to use a variable, and I have this one, I'm going to use light 40, okay? And then let's use the font size. I'm going to use the same one that I have for my text here, text M, okay? So I can just copy this, all right, like that. And then let's go to the editor, type in var, paste it inside here like so. Okay, that's nice. Everything else can stay as it is. Yeah, I'm going to also add a border at the bottom. So border, bottom, color, tertiary, width, 1 pixel, style, solid. That's nice. Okay, and I think I'm going to also, whilst I'm in here, let's go back to advanced and go to effects and set the transition to 0.3 seconds. Because what we want to do is go to state and select hover and customize this a little bit for the typography. For the color, I'm going to go VAR, light. I'm going to use 70 for this one, light 70, okay. And I think that is it. let me just come out of this, go back to original. Let's save. Let's go back to the front end. Let's refresh the page. That is looking pretty cool. So let's just test our link here. Yeah, that's nice. Everything else is fine here. Let's resize this. Yeah, that works, except for this is not very good here. So how do we fix this? Well, what we can do, the simple thing that we can do is let's go to this breakpoint here. I think it's this one here, isn't it? Yeah, this one here. We can select this one. And if you remember, we set everything to the right here for the horizontal item alignment. So for here, we can probably set this back to here. Okay, that's the easiest thing that we can do. So let's save and refresh on the front end. Let's resize. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm not going to continue making much changes. Apart from a few little tweaks, we can maybe make these logos a little bit smaller. So for this breakpoint, we could set we gave this a class, if you remember. So the logo we could set to size and spacing. What do we have? 100%, 225 pixels. Maybe 190 pixels or something like that. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay, so that is it. We're not going to get too nitpicky with this. What we probably want to do as well is we want to make these icons, or let's just select the ID. Let's go to attributes and add an attribute here. So we can set this to role, and then we could use something like, or we could use aria label, or sorry, not label, aria hidden true. Unless, of course, we're going to make these clickable icons, in which case we want to use something else. So we want to add something like aria label link to, I don't know, X platform. Okay, and so on for these other ones here for accessibility. And yeah, so we're done with that. Let's just stop there. You can continue doing this. You can continue modifying your header and footer sections if you want to, taking inspiration from this tutorial. But what I want to do next, I want to collapse everything here. I want to go back to this here. This is going to be our main container that contains our inner content element, okay? So what we want to do here, if you remember, we gave this, did we not give this? Oh yeah, we set the tag for the inner content element to main because we want to create an accessible skip to content link here. I'm going to show you how to do that. Let me go back to the full screen. And yeah, so let's do that next. So the first thing we want to do is select the main div. Let's head over to the ID here. We're going to click on this once. Okay, again. And then we're going to remove all of this and rename this to main. Okay, very important. That's the first step. Let's save. Now let's head over to body and let's go to add element and drop in a text link. All right, so here's our text link. We're going to drag this to the top here, okay, above the header section. We're going to rename this to skip to content link. Okay, so let's head over to the content for this and rename this to, or add the content to read skip to main content. Right, you can give this a class if you want to, but I'm not going to bother. So what I'm going to do is go to advanced and let's go to size and spacing. I'm going to remove this pixels to none, and then I'm going to add var space excess. I think I want to use, yep, and then apply all. Okay, so I'm using a variable to add some padding inside here. So next I'm going to go to typography, and for the color I'm going to set another variable here. I'm going to use light, okay, and the font size I'm going to use text body, not text body. I think it's text medium. Let's have a quick look. Text M, yeah, that's the one. Text M. All right, so next I want to, yeah, nothing else here. So let's go to background next and set another variable for our background color, which is tertiary. And then I think that is all I want to do. We could add a border if we wanted to. I don't think it's going to look very nice if we add a border. You know what we'll do instead of adding the border class is I'm going to go to advanced borders, and then we can actually affect individual borders. So I want to add a border here. That's a bit too much. 10 pixels. All right, so that part is done. What we want to do next is we want to go to Advanced and go to Layout, okay? And for the position, we want to set this to absolute. And then for the left, negative 10,000. Okay, so it has vanished. And the reason we want to do this is because we want to make the link only appear if it is required by the user. So just remember that not everyone will be using the screen reader. So yeah, that's fine. So now what we want to do is make that link only visible in the screen when it comes into focus. So when a user hits the tab button, for example. So how we do this is we have the skip to content link selected here. We're going to navigate to state and then add a new state. And we're going to call this one focus, or we're going to set this to focus. Okay, so all we need to do is add focus in here like so. Okay, and then for this, what we're also going to do is we have it selected here, skip to content link. We're going to go to advanced, down to position, and also set this to absolute. Okay, and the top value, we're going to add 0. And then here, we're going to add 0. Okay, so you can see it coming back into play here. Now, one thing we didn't do, let me just come out of the original state. I need to add 0 here as well. Okay, so save. Right. So let's go back to our focus state here. So yeah, we can see it here. Now, it's hidden behind our logo. And the best way to fix this is to come down to Z index. Again, this is available under advanced, and add a high value such as, yeah, 9 will do it, or anything above 0, I think it is. So even if we added 1 in here, yeah, so yeah, 1. All right, so what this means so far, if our user comes along and hits the tab key, the skip to main content link should appear. But obviously this doesn't work because we haven't actually linked it to anything. So what we need to do is navigate over to primary, and for the link, we need to add the hash and then main. So let's just save everything, and then let's go and test this on the front end here. Let's come out of our focus state, go back to original. So let's go to the front end. And so let's test this now. So I'm going to close this here and click on the tab key. Obviously, the first thing it's going to highlight is everything in this bar here. Now, of course, this isn't going to be displayed on a live website. So I'm going to click through a little bit more. And so here we go. So now you can see our skip to main content link, because we can't really see it very well because of this stupid bar. So what I'm going to do is go over to, yeah, let me just save this. I'm going to go to users here very quickly. And then I'm going to show toolbar when viewing site. No, I don't want this. Let's update. Let's go back to the front end, refresh. And now if we click on the tab key, the first thing that will come up is the skip to main content link. Okay, so now we can continue navigating through the site using the tab keys. Okay, because we don't have much content on this page apart from a header and a footer and some mediocre looking hero section here. There isn't much to do. So if we click the tab again, we can select skip to main content, or we can navigate through the other links in the header and then through the site if we don't click on that skip to main content option that we have. Okay, so that is that. Now, just in case you're wondering, what is this highlight you see around these options here? That is perfectly normal. That is the function within the web browser. Okay, so that is that. We've come to the end of this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it. So what we've done is created a nice, responsive and accessible header and footer section for our website using Oxygen Builder. We've also created an accessible skip to main content link. That's all we need to do. Okay, so that is it. Okay, so hopefully I'll see you in the next video. We're going to be adding a lot more Oxygen Builder video tutorials in the future to this channel, because one thing I've discovered is that even though Oxygen Builder may not be that popular, and a lot of people have moved on to other platforms such as Bricks or Breakdance or whatever else. The thing is, a lot of people still use Oxygen, and frankly speaking, Oxygen Builder is still alive, so yeah, people are still using it, and there's a whole bunch of new people discovering it, as I said, and wanting to learn more about it and how to use it. So I'm going to be updating all the videos, so you can look forward to that. If something works for me, I'll continue to use it regardless of what everybody else is doing. I kind of make my own decisions as to what I think is working in my business and what I think I should be teaching and whatnot. So despite what you've read on countless forums, group pages, or whatever else, Oxygen is still alive, still kicking. Okay, maybe not as many people are using it, it still works. So yeah, there you have it. So look forward to more Oxygen Builder videos in the near future. As a reminder, I will be going live at some stage this week, depending on when you're watching this video actually, because by the time you're watching this video, I might have rescheduled my live stream to another day, because as I said, I'm still testing, still setting things up, and still waiting for certain things to arrive so that I can test it and set it up properly. The last thing I want to do is go live on my first attempt and for it to be just one huge cock up. So yeah, thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video very soon. Take it easy and peace. Cheers.